Assalamualaikum and welcome to the third episode of Kis Uni video series. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Shayaan Salahuddin, who is just 17 and has accomplished so much. So thank you so much for coming, Shayaan. How are you?
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. Great. How are you, Mahad?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. So सबसे पहले Shayaan आप अपना थोड़ा सा introduction करवा दे.
So basically, like you mentioned, I'm still 17. I'm an A-level student. I'm currently in my A2. And, I've been familiar a lot with the startup side, and I've been working for a startup as well. We're in the financial service sector. So that's basically what I've been doing recently. And I'm working on the marketing side right now.
Acha, so how did it all start? So I know that you are working as a marketing manager for
Mm-hmm.
YPay. So I am
Mm-hmm.
interested in knowing how did you reach there?
So basically, my journey starts along with COVID, and when the pandemic came in, I everyone kind of had a lot of leisure time on their hand, and that's where I would spend the time watching Netflix series, and then there was that like a lot of free time, so I would do the same. But then there was this, like, let's say, a phase that came into my life where it was kind of like self realization, self actualization. के असल में करना क्या है मुझे ना. And up till A levels, like you can still say I'm still unsure what do I have to pursue in life. So I feel like that phase came in when the pandemic came around, and that gave me time to ponder कि भाई मैं अब क्या करना चाहता हूँ. तो उसके बाद जो है ना I started searching about things and started looking into different degrees and different pathways. So that's where I started doing different courses, and instead of watching those Netflix series, फिर मैंने एक goal बना लिया था कि I'm gonna start this course and end it by today, ताकि मेरे फिर वो एक थोड़ा सा ना certifications का वो आ गया था कि एक certificate दूसरा certificate. So that's how it started gradually. Then I made like a kind of a, let's say, uh, uh, a note to myself. Yeah, I gave myself an objective कि मैं जब pandemic के बाद, whenever the pandemic ends, whenever we are out of the pandemic, I want to become someone new. I want to become someone better, जो pandemic से पहले नहीं था. So I made that small goal of mine, and along with the new year resolution, वहाँ पे resolution वगैरह का जो होता है. So with that new year resolution, I just gave myself a target कि मुझे जो है ना इस साल some earning stream generate करनी है. So that's how it all started, and I started doing different certifications courses. तो उससे थोड़ा build up करते करते I got into like different roles, और वहाँ से तो I'll tell you how it started. In the beginning, what I did is कि I started doing different courses, and I was always passionate about graphic design, but then I wasn't the technical kind of person. मुझे like design की अच्छी understanding थी, एक अच्छा design कैसे होता है. So I came across a tool, I started using किसको मैं कैसे use करता हूँ design में. And then a few friends of mine, came up with this initiative. So मैंने उन्हें join कर लिया. They were doing a non-profit. I joined them. I was like, okay, let me handle the marketing, let me handle the design. तो उससे जो है थोड़ा थोड़ा करके like I started gaining experience, and joining these initiatives gave me a lot to think about कि भाई मैं कैसे काम कर सकता हूँ. That's where it all starts, and then adding up to the experience, adding up on that the network I started building. So wahan se few months later I started getting into different roles. So usme jo hai, my starting point would be the social media intern role at YPay. That's where it all begins for me then.
अच्छा, so आप सोशल मीडिया इंटर्न से फिर आप मार्केटिंग
Hmm.
मैनेजर पे प्रमोट हो गए वाई पे.
Yes.
अच्छा, तो
Yes.
सबसे पहले तो ये बताएं कि वाई पे का मतलब विजन क्या है, वो क्या करना चाह रहे हैं और आपका फिर
Right.
रोल क्या है उधर.
Right. So YPay currently, what we're doing at YPay is a bridge between different asset management companies and people who are willing to invest. So putting it down, in simple terms, breaking the lingo. So basically, people are still, there's a lot of कह सकते हैं कि फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी का बहुत बड़ा गैप है पाकिस्तान में, एंड पीपल आर स्टिल नॉट अवेयर ऑफ कि क्या डिफरेंट, लेट्स से डिफरेंट एरियाज है इन्वेस्टमेंट के. यहाँ पे आइदर वी इन्वेस्ट इन property or we invest in gold, मतलब real estate, gold वगैरह ज़्यादातर, क्योंकि people like to play it safe, right? And then there are, like, you can say, myths that are tied up with those commodities over there जो stock में है और जो है ना mutual funds वगैरह में. So we're trying to break that stereotype, and we're trying to become the bridge in between. With एक हमारा एक जो है let's say aim ये है कि we need to spread financial literacy, and we need to tell people that there are different areas of investment. And the one area which YPay is actively working on is the mutual funds area. तो हम लोग जो है म्यूचुअल फंड्स enable कर रहे हैं. We have built a product जिसमें you can access any mutual funds, like you can access various mutual funds. आप उनमें जो है ना, just from like a few clicks you can invest into them. You don't have to go for the paperwork, you don't have to go banking. And we've seen this revolution especially in India. तो वहाँ पे जो अब जो like their, let's say their generation has grown के उनको पता है finance के बारे में, they know about mutual funds. So we're trying to bring something similar in Pakistan, and we feel like that's a huge gap over there. क्योंकि अभी भी इन्वेस्टमेंट पीपल अब जो हमने जो लर्न किया ना, लेट्स से द लेसन वी हैव लर्नड रिसेंटली, व्हिच वाज वेरी अमेजिंग फॉर अस एज वेल, जो क्रिप्टो अडॉप्शन हुई है. तो क्रिप्टो की जो अडॉप्शन हुई है, एंड हाउ पीपल स्टार्ट इन्वेस्टिंग, यू कैन इवन सी के पीपल एज यंग एज 18 वर ready to invest in crypto, और there was no logic behind that. उनको बस था कि मार्केट क्रिप्टो की है और क्रिप्टो में ना ट्रेंड्स है, तो they were just investing in that. So we that was great for us. We got to learn from it, and we're still learning from it. कि इस market को ना, how can we bring these safe, secure investments, schemes to them? क्योंकि लोगों के पास पैसा है, but they need education, they need literacy. So that's what YPay is doing currently, and we are like we would love to like tell people कि भाई financial literacy कैसे होती है, क्योंकि at the end we're not just working on our product. At the end we're let's say enabling the whole society, we're revolutionizing the whole investment landscape in Pakistan. So that's what we're looking at. What I do at YPay is I am one of like the, let's say, the founding team members at YPay. So initially जब YPay started हुआ था back in January last year, so I, even though I joined as a social media intern, from there on, I was one who was excelling and growing in that role. So then, they gave me an offer, okay, you've been with us for a long time. And it was me and like, we have like 5 other in the founding team, I guess. So, they were like, we are the founding team. So what I've been doing is, for a startup, like I was listening to your podcast the other day. So for a startup, there are different roles that you have to wear. Like there are different hats that you have to wear, different shoes you have to get into. So I've done a lot at startup at YPay, and I feel like being a startup, that's what got me कि भाई मैं डिसाइड कर सकता हूँ मुझे या मार्केटिंग में जाना है या मुझे फाइनेंस में जाना है या एचआर में जाना है. तो there's a bit of everything that I've done in a startup, and the best thing I loved about at YPay was taking initiatives. So yeah, you're never stopped to take an initiative, और उसमें ये होता है कि you can obviously experiment with things. तो अभी actively मैं YPay पे ये what we're doing right now is I'm working on their digital marketing campaigns currently. I've been handling much of their social media. Other than that, there are like physical events that I've also managed, and again, mentioning ke the other different roles that I've got into. So I was also involved in developing the product at YPay, and I've also been involved in different HR roles at YPay, management and all that.
अच्छा, सो एक मेरा क्वेश्चन है वाईपे के बारे में. सो
Sure.
कितना मतलब इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट चाहिए जस्ट टू स्टार्ट, मतलब स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं काफी ज्यादा, दे जस्ट गेट देयर पॉकेट मनी. सो उनको कोई कैटर कर सकता है वाईपे या बड़ी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स के लिए?
Definitely. So for mutual funds, what the bare minimum you need to start is 1,000 rupees. So that's that's why we are especially targeting the millennials out there. We're targeting the Gen Z, and hum log, we're trying our best. We have like in this upcoming month we also have different seminars at different institutes. So we're trying to tell people कि जो है ना म्यूचुअल फंड्स है, बेसिकली म्यूचुअल फंड्स में ये होता है कि it's a passive income stream, right? And you have to like once you invest in that, वो आपको जो है ना लॉन्ग टर्म में थोड़ा रिटर्न देता है. तो लेट्स से आप यूनिवर्सिटी में जब आ गए हो, तो यूनिवर्सिटी में आपको 2,000 पॉकेट मनी मिल रही है. तो उसमें लेट्स से कि 1,000 जो है ना, फॉर इंस्टेंस 1,000 जो है आप सेविंग्स में डाल के आप जो है ना इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो. तो बाय द एंड ऑफ यूनिवर्सिटी, व्हेन you're leaving, let's say when you're graduating, right? तो you won't even know कि आपका कितना जो है उस पे return आ सकता है. That's different. Those are different funds. So you can get up to like 14% return annually उस पे ना. तो there are different stream. There are different funds out there. There are different returns. So we are also providing all that consultancy kind of thing over there. We are enabling investors जिनको जो first time investors हैं especially, and the housewives are out there जो कि committee वगैरह में वैसे ही पैसे डालती हैं, but we want to bring them to mutual funds. So that's what we're initially working on. So thousands the limit, the starting limit, but then you can spend as much, you can invest as much.
सही सही। अच्छा, तो इसमें ये है कि how supportive were your family and friends during your this journey?
Well, it's a funny thing because I guess the like you can say the family background like everyone comes from in Pakistan. Even me, when I started off, so I was a bit hesitant. I was like, नहीं बाबा मना कर देंगे और नहीं करने देंगे क्योंकि studies disturb होंगे. So yeah, that was the fear at the start. But then even at the start, जब मैं like internship वगैरह कर रहा था, तो COVID gave that opportunity कि आप remote work करो. So that was really different for my family. So I would tell someone कि मैं जो ना internship कर रहा हूँ, that they were like, पता नहीं कैसी internship हो रही है. Like I mean, they were expecting कि I'm gonna go to work or something. So that wasn't happening, ना. So at the start, it was kind of like sketchy for them, and they were like कि पता नहीं whatever is he working on. So I feel like तब जो है ना थोड़ा सा उनके लिए भी थोड़ा they had a gap over there. But then when I started getting into the role and I started telling my dad about it on basically frequently, तो उसमें फिर उनको हुआ कि नहीं, he is actually working on something. And then it starts getting more supportive, and then he was like it's a good job that you're doing this. And I'm more like, he got more proud of my, let's say, I don't consider it as extracurricular, but then he got more proud of it as let's say, other than my studies achievement. So he got really supportive, and my parents are really supportive, and then ever since जो भी achievements आ रही हैं, तो they're really happy about it.
अच्छा, तो इस तरह है कि मतलब जब रिजल्ट्स आने लगे तो उनको पता लग गया कि काफी अच्छा चल रहा है सीन सारा कुछ.
I mean, they were just concerned case studies to understand now. So I'm trying my best case studies. I do, try to keep a manage of time, and studies, or yeah, obviously whatever I'm doing is something a part of studies as well. So दोनों को साथ लेके चलना है. So
अच्छा,
that's my initial goal. Yeah.
so studies का आगे आपका क्या सीन है, मतलब what do you plan on pursuing and from where?
So studies का आगे plan है कि I am looking at a few universities in Pakistan as well. But the ultimate plan that I kind of had is that I'm gonna go abroad, and I do have plans to move to Australia. But other than that, the major I'm trying to decide. So again, getting into the startup ecosystem and realizing कि यहाँ पे तो बहुत अलग ही कुछ चल रहा है ना, कि people are less likely to go to the finance side now. अब जो है ना accounting वाला area जो है थोड़ा सा dry हो रहा है. It's more tech ना. So that's why I've learned कि computer science जो है ना pursue करना, and this is something that I was planning to do, computer science pursue करना. But then now, since I've got into marketing as well, so I'm more into like I'm gonna go for maybe the data analyst side, or maybe the business analyst side. So that's something I'm still deciding upon. But yeah, these would be the fields I'm considering. तो उसमें that does include a bit of business as well. तो उसके लिए यही कि I am planning to go to Australia, but then I'm applying at universities over here as well.
अच्छा, सो एक नैरेटिव है कि मतलब कि ना अब मार्केट चेंज हो रही है, यू डोंट नीड अ डिग्री, और बाकी आप देखो डिग्री के बगैर काम कर रहे हो, तो इसके बारे में आप क्या
बिल्कुल.
कहोगे? मतलब कि लोग टर्शियरी एजुकेशन परस्यू नहीं करते, लेकिन मतलब उनका कहना ये है कि टर्शियरी एजुकेशन परस्यू नहीं करनी चाहिए, सो इस बारे में व्हाट इज योर?
Well, that's a great debate जो मुझे भी हमेशा confused रखती है. तो I'm still working on that कि मुझे डिग्री करनी चाहिए नहीं. But there's something that I read the other day जो कि which was really impactful on me कि having a degree is, let's say, no harm on your your profile, but not having one does put a question over there कि आपने degree क्यों नहीं की. So that's that's what I'm thinking. But what I strictly think about with all the education stuff is कि finance कितना जा रहा है. So I've seen students who are, let's say कि उनको like they don't know, they're not aware of कि कितना finance लग रहा है in their education, even though like that sum that fees, but like looking at where you're coming from, या आप afford कर सकते हो या नहीं, और the most important thing is कि आपको pay back कर सकेगा या नहीं कर सकेगा. So this is something I consider in my case. So even if I'm going to a really like a prestige university, right, what I'll be considering is कि वो मुझे pay back कर सकता है. Let's saying कि मैं जब वहां से graduate करके निकलता हूँ, तो मेरी वैल्यू इतनी होगी कि मैं जो है अपने आप को पे बैक कर सकूं इन अ फ्यू इयर्स, क्योंकि आई डोंट वांट टू स्पेंड इयर्स वर्किंग ऑन दैट, क्योंकि वी हैव सीन दैट इन द यूएस, राइट. स्टूडेंट्स वेंट टू प्रेस्टीज
Mm,
यूनिवर्सिटीज, got graduated, and now they're repaying their loan.
yeah.
वो लोन पे करने पे ना ये they're in debt, and there's a lot of, let's say, a chaos over there. So that's something I'm always you can say कि optimistic, वो कहते हैं कि आप जो है ना एक कंस्ट्रक्टिव, आप जो आपकी सोच होती है उसको, तो उसमें आई एम ऑलवेज थिंकिंग अबाउट दैट कि मेरा जो है कॉस्ट वगैरह कितना पड़ेगा, एंड दैट्स समथिंग दैट वैल्यूज द मोस्ट टू मी. सही है. तो talking about degrees, I would say कि degree is something you should do. सही है. I'm still supportive of that, क्योंकि अभी even though people are like कि अब जो है ना ज्यादातर टेक में और ये सब कुछ जो चल रहा है, like you might have heard कि अब जो है गूगल वगैरह भी they don't ask for your degree. But then अभी पाकिस्तान का जो, let's say, the education system over here is के degree, so it would be better than having a degree than not. Let's say for the next 5 years, 10 years. But if you are really polished on a skill, right? अगर आपको freelancing आती है, अगर आपको web development आती है, आप software engineer हो, and you can, let's say, generate a revenue from it every month, then degree, I would say, it's not your path. So yeah, don't go for that. Don't go for the education. अगर if you are, let's say, अगर आपको किसी चीज पे you have like a firm grip over कि भाई मैं जो है ये कर सकता हूँ and I can improve on that, then going for a degree won't be my recommendation. Okay, there are different courses you can do, and again, skill set does matter more than your degree. पर degree के बारे में मैंने ये भी सुना है कि some people, degree से शायद उन्होंने technical skills ना सीखी हो, but what they've learned is those soft skills out there जो ना आपको communication and stuff like that कि आपको जो develop करनी होती है problem solving. So that's still a debate out there, and I might not be the best person to advise. But again, जो मुझे आज तक जो impact किया है कि degree is something nice to have, but जब नहीं होती तो it does raise some questions. So that's why my plan is to go for a degree, inshallah.
सही है. अच्छा, अब आप क्या मतलब जो स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं ओ लेवल्स किए, मैट्रिक किए,
Hmm.
उन एंड
Hmm.
दे आर लुकिंग टू अर्न सम पॉकेट मनी ना, तो उसके लिए
Hmm.
आपका एडवाइस है, हाउ डू दे स्टार्ट एंड
I feel like अब जो time आ गया ना to like start earning something, it's easier than ever. That's what I feel. Especially जो change आया ना, the remote work वाला जो आया है because of COVID, जो people are working from home, and that's where I got my opportunity working from home. I never thought कि मैं जो है ऐसे इतनी early age में जो अपना career start कर लूँगा. तो I feel like starting off it isn't that hard, and especially with freelancing. Freelancing में लोग कहते हैं competition बहुत है and stuff, but it's about selling yourself. It's about finding the right market. There are different platforms. उससे भी हट के if you want to go there are different niche that you can go into. There are different skills that you, अगर graphic designing, let's say आप जो है ना graphic designing कर रहे हो, तो there is a big competition graphic designing. तो वो that's your determination ना. आप खुद सोचो कि आपको graphic designing में आगे जाना चाहिए क्योंकि competition है. But again, competition जो है ना, competition को tackle करने से you can grow. So it's about the person's abilities, and I feel like everyone's different, right? So I got this, you can say कि मुझे जो है ये जो self actualization point आया, someone's gonna be having it maybe in their 19s या जब 20 years के हो जाएंगे, जब 19 year के हो जाएंगे. So it's different for everyone, and everyone takes their time. About generating a pocket money or something, I feel like ab jo hai na, it is easier, and you can teach tuitions online, उससे भी हो रहा है, आप generate कर सकते हो, freelancing से कर सकते हो, and startup is the new trend. And I feel like if you have a skill set, then go for startups, or even working with different agencies वगैरह भी possible है, क्योंकि I've done that. I know people who do that जो कि मेरी age में ही है, A levels में ही है, तो I'm aware of that कि लोग कर सकते हैं, and there is a market out there. All you need, I feel like, is a skill and a laptop to start off.
अच्छा, so we'll sum this up. So one
Mm-hmm.
last question कि मतलब do you have any regrets, मतलब क्या आप अपने आप को younger self को कोई advice देना चाहेंगे, मतलब you are like 15. We are very
Mhm.
both younger. So,
Mhm.
like 2 years back, what advice you would have for Shayaan?
2 years back, again thinking about the younger self. So I always have this question: if I was there, at that point, so what would be the advice that I'd give to myself? And I do have younger siblings at home as well. So मैं जो है ना वो वाला advice है थोड़ा उन पे वो करता हूँ. So I do feel like at some point that I should have got into working earlier. So yeah, I should have got into developing my skills earlier. या मैं courses वगैरह शुरू में करता तो at that time जब freelancing इतनी जो है common नहीं थी तो competition नहीं था तो maybe I could have started off earlier. That's what I do think about. But then I'm a strong believer कि जो होता है वो मतलब उसकी पीछे एक वजह होती है. सही है. तो I feel like there are no regrets. ये होना था तो it had to happen late. I couldn't have done anything. तो उसमें I'm really happy that I had that time to enjoy myself and I did whatever. मैं तब जो है ना दोस्तों घर में अभी भी like everything's the same, nothing has changed. But then at that time I feel like the advice to my younger self would be कि enjoy करो क्योंकि आगे जो है ना A levels and then university it does get harder. So that would be the only advice to myself कि ना O levels O levels में लगता था कि पता नहीं क्या एकदम से मुश्किल पढ़ाई हो गई है. But then O levels was like the time to enjoy. Plus that the pandemic came in. तो pandemic के बाद जो है सब कुछ जो है change होने लगा. So my advice to the younger self would be कि हाँ work on yourself and keep developing yourself. Just don't stop at a point कि इससे ज़्यादा आगे नहीं हो सकता या इससे बेहतर नहीं हो सकता. Working on yourself is really important. Even if you're putting into yourself a bit even every day. अगर थोड़ी थोड़ी मेहनत करके भी even if you're learning one new thing every day. What I've started recently is कि मैं जो है podcast बहुत सुनना शुरू कर दिया मैंने. बहुत as in I try to listen to a podcast like an hour of podcast every day. So it's become a routine and I've started learning from people's different experiences. So that's something I like to do right now. So मैं शायद I didn't identify this when I was young, but this is something I would tell people के start off maybe with a book, reading a book या फिर listening to a podcast and you'll start developing yourself.
Acha. So thank you so much for coming. It was a great learning experience. मैंने personally
Yeah.
बहुत कुछ सीखा. You are a great
Likewise, thank you very
inspiration
much.
for
Thank you very
many out
much.
there. Sure.
No,
So
I'm just just looking forward to everyone progressing over here and revolutionizing. अभी जो है ना जितना startup में let's say कि boom चला हुआ है तो we're looking at many great years in Pakistan for the next like let's say 5 years में बहुत कुछ change होने वाला है. तो it's
inshallah.
now or never. Inshallah. Inshallah.